Welcome back. We're now here with John Mennel, Global Digital Assets Leader for Sustainability at Deloitte.
Thanks,
Welcome, John.
Thank you.
So, wow, that's a title.
It sure
so,
is.
so what does it mean?
What does it
Global
actually
Digital
mean?
Assets Leader for Sustainability, and what is that practice?
In general, it means I do all things technology for our sustainability practice. So the analytical models we build, data, alliances with technology companies, those are all the kinds of things I focus on.
We're hearing a lot about AI and the big impacts that AI is going to have on sustainability.
Yeah.
How are you seeing generative AI actually currently looping into sustainability workflows?
Yeah, the way it's showing up right now already, and we have 25 AI use cases or Gen AI use cases that we put together that we're implementing now with clients, is that it's just making it much quicker and therefore much cheaper to synthesize and analyze information. And so that shows up in reporting readiness, it shows up in supply chain, it shows up in highly targeted customer marketing offers. And we've, in some of our own products, we're actually recognized by Gartner for implementing Gen AI in our Green Space Tech product, which is a climate hard tech navigator. It helps companies identify what technologies are not ready today, but they'll need to be able to hit their goals. And we've basically cut the time that we can get analytical reports out of that engine from a couple of weeks down to less than a day,
And so
based on Gen AI.
Excuse me. And so you're using data that you're actually generating in the background, so you don't have that problem that we hear about around the data not being great feeding into AI.
Well, but the other use case for Gen AI is great for cleaning data, right? Because we are able to run data that we know is not clean through a large language model. We know what expectations we have, and after multiple iterations through that, we can clean data. And that, as you know, is the biggest problem for large companies in sustainability is they don't have clean data, and therefore they can't get to good conclusions. And Gen AI is making that a lot faster. And when I talk about reporting and supply chain transformation for sustainability, it's largely about getting better data.
So you work with some of the biggest brands and well-known companies. And so with the sustainability teams, what are they asking you about? What are the trends that you've seen that companies are looking for help with?
Yeah, I think one of the things that has really changed even in the past year is we've almost completely gotten beyond the why and we're at the how. And so whereas a year or two ago we were doing business cases, we were working on target setting, those kinds of things, for the vast majority of our clients, that's already done. And what we're working on now is what to do, when to do it, how to make it economically viable for the company, and more importantly, how to make it a competitive advantage, right? Because climate change is an enormous problem, but it's also an enormous opportunity for business. And businesses who really think about how to differentiate based on the transition we're going through are going to be the winners over the next couple of decades.
Shifting gears a bit to policy, I'd love to ask you about the new California regulations, SB 253. What is this going to mean for companies doing business in California?
So at the simplest is it's going to require companies doing business in California to disclose their carbon footprint and then also to disclose the risks to their business from climate change. And what's interesting is it's actually very similar to a set of EU regulations which require something similar. As you know, those two sets of regulations, if you look at it, California is the 5th largest economy in the world. The EU is, as I'm not sure, but also a very large economy in the world. That basically means that every large company in the world, every large company in the US will need to do those two things, disclose their footprint, disclose their risks from climate change. And what that means is when they disclose it, it needs to be at the same quality as all the financial data, which means all the technology, the controls, the reporting, the auditing that goes into getting the financial data right is also going to have to go into climate data because it's going to be reviewed by shareholders and everyone else. It's a big, important change.
It's fascinating, and it's really helpful to get your perspective, seeing the behind the scenes from so many brands. We've been with John Mennel, Global Digital Assets Leader for Sustainability at Deloitte. Thanks, John.
Thank you.